Adventures! It's Friday, and I'm on my way. Nothing quite like zipping through the air on your way to Nerd Vengers Tower for a dope-ass stream. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Hope it was a good week for you. Congratulations. You made it to frickin' Friday. And that has got to be a good feeling. I know it's a good feeling for me. Crazy stuff to talk about, guys. Yesterday, the internet was ablaze. As exciting, confusing, speculative, DC/Warner Brothers Discovery news is out there. This is going to be one of those streams where we talk about some business stuff. We talk about the possibilities. And we definitely talk about what you guys think should be going on, because there's crazy, strange things afoot at the Circle K, Ted. I want to talk about what they could mean, and I've sort of grappled with my feelings about them yesterday, and I want to explain where I'm at with it all. And we'll just see. And yes, it's more DC stuff. I know some of you are upset, but this stream is dedicated to Big Stevie and all the other DC fans that put up with me shitting on Warner Brothers in DC most of the time. Maybe we'll continue to do that a little bit today. Either way, it's going to be a fun stream. Gambling should be on for you fiends. I'm flying in right now. I'll see you soon. Is the gambling not working? Chet, what the? Oh, there we go. Cool. Streamlabs was a little bit sleepy or something. What's up, everybody? What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. I think it's going to be a good show, man. I got a lot to get into. I've also recorded 2 videos. Count them up. 2 videos already today. There are new Kenobi leaks. Not going to lie, when I first heard of these Kenobi leaks, I was like, man. How am I going to not be just such a negative Nancy when I do the video about this? Everyone's going to get on my case. Everybody hates it when I get all negative about Star Wars. How am I going to lie and act like I'm okay with this shit? But, alas, as I heard more about it and I looked into it a little further, I was like, yo, this could actually be kind of dope. This could be kind of dope. So that will be coming out for you guys later today. I also did a big video, which will either be dropping today or tomorrow, about crazy possibilities for Multiverse of Madness. There are 2 big cameos that I don't think next to anybody is talking about that I think might be in this movie. And we're going to talk about that in a video coming up very soon, okay? But, alas, today is the day where we talk about DC again. Okay? Big time news dropped yesterday. I am sure many of you saw it. In fact, just let me know. Put a 1 into the chat if you saw. Take your hand off the freaking slot machine. Stop rolling the dice for just 2 seconds. And put a 1 into the chat if you saw the DC news. The craziness from yesterday, yeah. So, pretty wild stuff going on, man. And I'm going to be watching this closely because... okay, enough of the ones. Jeez. There's a lot going on here. We're not even sure 100% what this even means right now. And there's even conflicting reports within the big report that came out yesterday from Variety. But this will make it 2 big trade articles written about Zaslav and the changes that are coming in for Warner Brothers. Okay? And for myself, oh man, like I was on a roller coaster ride of emotions. Okay, a roller coaster ride of emotions. And I want to just show you a little bit of what's in the article from yesterday. This is the thing that really just went crazy all over the internet. So many people thinking different things about what it means. It's very bizarre. I also want to give a big shout out to E-Man's movie reviews. I was going to do a podcast with him today talking all about this, but I'm just behind and I'm trying to knock out those other big videos, which will require some editing throughout the day. And I'm hoping next week we can get back into collabs, getting the podcast back going on, et cetera, et cetera. But regardless, I had some very good conversations with E-Man in the DMs, talking about what this could mean, talking about the different possibilities, talking about Feige, Marvel, Warner Brothers, et cetera, et cetera. And so I highly recommend you go check out his coverage of this, too, because he has some really insightful things to say to me, which I will probably reference a little bit in today's stream. Okay? So, wild stuff, man. Warner Brothers Discovery exploring overhaul of DC Entertainment. Now, they talk a lot about Zaslav in here. They talk about the $1 billion deal. And the deal is, of course, and this was sort of said in the other prior report, that Zaslav is moving to LA and he wants to be very hands-on with not just DC stuff, but like all of the stuff that they are doing in Hollywood. Okay? And it says in this article that what he's looking for is like a Kevin Feige, and he wants to have DC be its own sort of vertical within the company that would be able to operate under sort of singular control that would directly report to him, very similar to what's going on with Disney and Kevin Feige, okay? So we'll read a little bit of this. It says, it's been less than a week since Discovery closed its $43 billion deal for Warner Media, joining one of the largest producers of reality programming with one of the most vulnerable entertainment brands under the new moniker of Warner Bros. Discovery. David Zaslav, the CEO of the combined companies, and top leadership have been toying with the idea of turning DC into its own solidified content vertical. The move would potentially affect DC future film development in Warner Bros. Pictures Group, streaming series at Warner Bros. Television, and the creative arm within DC proper, all in an effort to have the desperate elements more closely aligned in order to maximize the value of the superhero stable, one often seen as punching up against Marvel. Before the merger closed, Zaslav vetted candidates with experience in creating and nurturing blockbuster intellectual property with the goal of potentially finding someone to serve as creative and strategic czar, similar to what Marvel has in Kevin Feige. One of those candidates included Emma Watts, a former top film executive at 20th Century Studios and Paramount, but it does not appear that Watts will take the job. One insider suggested that Zaslav was less interested in finding a creative guru and more eager to hire someone who had the type of business background needed to keep all the different factions at DC working harmoniously. That's really interesting. Okay, so let's stop for a second and just talk about that. He wants a creative czar, but the one person said he's actually not looking to get a Kevin Feige as much as he's looking to just get someone that's more business savvy that would understand how to put all of this stuff together. Okay? So, man, okay, let's just sort of talk about this and speculate about what I think is going on, okay? And I did a big shout out to Grace. I thought she did a good video sort of breaking this down and talking about it. And we've got to get into this, okay? So there are all kinds of theories and all sorts of discussion about what this means and what it should mean, okay? Creative overhaul, right? Very interesting language. Putting everything consolidated under a singular silo, pretty interesting. Leveraging these superhero stuff. Zaslav really fully understands that that's like a big part of the game. Revitalizing characters like Superman, that's mentioned in the article, which is good to hear, right? Because, as we said in the Flash Leaks video that we did yesterday, and slight spoiler warning, But yeah, I mean, it looks like the plan pre any of this stuff was to not have Henry Cavill or any Superman be the main Superman for DC moving forward. Instead, it was going to be Supergirl. Okay? That's been out there for some time. I don't think that's too crazy, spoiler or whatever. So just at face value, it's exciting that to hear in this article and to hear that they realize that Superman and these big DC characters need to be a big part of it. They can't be left to language. They can't be left to die on the vine or something like that is what he said. Now, the mention of a Feige is kind of interesting because there's also mention of like letting creatives do their thing. And he said that he likes the movie Joker and that he sees Joker as a type of movie that can exist due to artistic vision and make all of that money and be really successful. But those are kind of counterintuitive points, right? Because although Joker's awesome, it's not a Kevin Feige thing. Like, there is no Jokers in the MCU. Everything pretty much adheres to that formula and to the desire of Feige, right? But I think that what they're really saying is they want someone that can have all of these different things operate in cohesion. Okay? Now, this is sort of a weird scenario specifically because of Warner Brothers' history over the past 5 to 6 years of trying to do similar type things, right? So one thing that's really, really wild is like if you think about it, I remember doing videos and doing coverage of when John Berg and Jeff Johns were said to have that position. Were said to be in charge. I guess the deal is they were only really in charge of DC films or whatever. But even that, like, doesn't that seem a little bit like The Boy Who Cried Wolf a little bit? Like, essentially, the deal is DC's a mess. It's not coherent, as they've described. And so, when Jeff Johns and John Byrne were brought on, I thought that's what we were getting. Like a Kevin Feige light or like somebody with vision, somebody to oversee all of it, right? So then they get canned. And, you know, Jeff Johns gets kind of moved around or whatever. Then Walter Hamada comes over, right? And he was supposed to be the guy in charge of everything. And then there was this belief that Hamada would be the Kevin Feige, right? So, as Trev's pointing out in the chat, yes, this is part of the problem. They did all answer to Toby Emmerich. And the old structure after the AT&T merger was pretty whack. Like, that was pretty whack. And again, like, just all the different changes of leadership, all of these different things. It's been a really convoluted sort of idea. Zaslav, it appears, is definitely going to make changes. Absolutely going to make changes. We don't know what degree to which he will make those changes. That is sort of left to be determined. But I would say that with 2 articles now coming out in the trades, it's pretty obvious that like that camp and that studio is putting the feelers out, is putting the information out that things are changing. And this story blew up yesterday. And the thing is, the story is vague. We don't even fucking know, bro. Like, we're going to speculate about a bunch of different things here, but we don't even really know what it means. There are some people that think that DC doesn't need a reboot, an overhaul, a revitalization at all. I've seen this mentioned by many different people online yesterday as this story was coming out. A lot of different insiders and people were saying this is not even the time for that. The fact is, DC is sort of finally getting their shit together. It seems like we're finally getting fun stuff, and there's a lot of fun stuff being done with DC, and there's a lot of hope for the future in Flash, Black Adam, Peacemaker's dope. Like, there are some fans that are saying that we don't need anything. You know, we don't need a Kevin Feige. We don't need a reboot. We don't need any of that. And I just want to know if you're out there in chat right now and you're one of those people, just let me know. Say yeah. Say yes. or something. Like, just let me know, because I'm curious, man. I really am. I'm curious. I understand that belief, and I understand thinking that. But I got to tell you, I am certainly not in that camp. Okay? And what I'm actually, my take on this and what I think they should do is actually probably going to be pretty radical. And a lot of you guys probably won't like it, and that includes the Snyder fans. And I got some bad news for Snyder fans, man. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly, like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, that shit probably ain't happening. But let's talk about the fanboy dream, okay? Let's talk about the fanboy dream, because when I first heard this, before I really dug into the article, before I really, like, reached out to other people, talked to different sources, and then, you know, watched Grace's coverage on it and kind of tried to meditate on what I thought it meant, before all of that, I heard overhaul of DC, they want a Kevin Feige, and immediately, I thought, put Zack Snyder into that position, okay? Now, is this partially just because I'm such a Snyder fanboy? Of course. Is this partially because I feel like Zack was done so wrong, and that the Snyder cut was actually an opportunity for them to actually set things right and to capitalize on this massive thing that I thought was so damn cool? Of course. Do I think he could do it? So here's the thing. He could maybe do the creative oversight of what those stories and films should be. And, you know, I think about things like Wonder Woman, the first one, compared to the second one. Zack was much more intimately involved in the first Wonder Woman movie, including story credit, you know? And even though he technically produced on the second one, he wasn't involved at all. You know what I mean? So I think that especially with Debbie, Zack and Debbie could absolutely handle massive amount of production and cohesion of film. But when you dig a little bit deeper into what they're actually looking for and what Zaslav actually wants, Zack's just not that guy. Zack and Debbie are not that couple. They're not that. You know what I mean? Like, does Zack have business savvy? Absolutely, yeah. But it's not going to happen. I would love it. I feel like it would be such an epic win. And honestly, like, I hope he's consulted or something, you know, moving forward. But to be honest with you, I pretty quickly realized that's not a good fit. It's probably not even what Zack wants, as he now has multiple Rebel Moon movies over in development at Netflix. Zack's going to be fine. Zack's going to do his thing. Perhaps there's a scenario where whoever the new person is, or whatever happens in the after the restructure, it is technically possible that they would use some of Zack's characters and do some of that Zack stuff and do all of that, okay? But if I'm being honest, even that doesn't seem likely. In the video that Grace had out yesterday, I think she revealed what I think are some pretty hard truths for the Snyder fandom. And I know not everybody's going to love to hear this, and I know that there will be a kerfuffle online. 100%. And you got to remember, I'm a big Zack Snyder fanboy. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Am I such a fan? I'm such a fan. But here's the reality, dude. Whether it's real or not, the narrative in Hollywood and the way that Hollywood feels about the Snyder cut and about the Snyderverse is not positive. Maybe it did big numbers. I think it did big numbers. But Hollywood seems to think that those numbers are not as big as other people think. And they view the Snyder fan base, I think, in two ways. Number one, they view them as a minority of fans that's very, very loud. But I want to talk about that for a second because I find it so ironic that I think a lot of the shit that affects major studios these days is actually a minority of fans that are very, very vocal on Twitter. Like, how can we not realize that, certain fan groups out there, whether it be for Marvel or whether it be for, Star Wars or whatever, how can we not recognize that some of those groups are a minority that are being really loud? But we can figure that out about the Snyder Cut. I don't know. Seems a little sus. Seems a little sus to me, right? But the other side of this, I think, is undisputable. Even if you're a big-time Snyder fan, I mean, unless you're, like, completely blind to discourse online, I think you have to realize that the discourse is... I wouldn't use the word toxic. I would say divisive. 100% it's divisive. Like, even on the posts I make and the videos I make and the streams that we do, for every one person that says, hell yeah, Snyder Cut, restore the Snyderverse, let's go, there's at least one, maybe two, that are like, no, thank you, get him out of here. And that either has to do with the movies that Zack did before or with the way that the Snyder fan base has been super aggressive online. And frankly, from a business perspective, it is probably just not worth the headache, dude. Like, unfortunately, for a fan of that world, those characters, that guy, all of it, I absolutely love what that fan base has been able to do. I think they get wrongly vilified in a lot of different ways. They've done a ton for charity, for suicide awareness, all kinds of stuff. Just, it's not what people think it is. However, you can't deny that's a lot of what the narrative is. We're playing a narrative game here. So, like, do we think that Zaslav, looking at the numbers, looking at the imprint, looking at what's going on, do we really think Zaslav's going to come in and say, oh, man, let's do all that Snyder stuff? The numbers just aren't there, and the discourse is too problematic. Period. I know that sucks to say, but it's true. Now, the other thing that I'll say is that their current direction, I think, also sucks, dude. Like, I'm sorry, I just do. Back in the day, after Batman v Superman, which I think I think the theatrical version of Batman v Superman sucks. I know there are people out there that like it and defend it. I think it sucks. The director's cut, much, much better, which is, again, part of the reason why I think Zack was done so wrong back then. But it is what it is. Batman v Superman ain't that great. And the Martha scene is in both versions. And you'll never convince me, you'll never convince me that the Martha scene is a good scene. It's not a good scene. It's a stupid idea. It's like a screenwriter that stumbles upon a coincidence in comics and thinks it's the coolest fucking thing ever. No, it sucks. It's stupid. It's also cringe that you do Batman Returns with Batman and Superman actually fighting without the long history of those two dudes being friends, having history together. It takes all the oomph out of it. It's all spectacle, no substance. Now, after that, DC was faced with an impossible decision that they refused to make. They either had to go a different way, not do Justice League with Zack, or ride it out. And they made the most spineless, stupidest decision ever that I think the brand of DC is still suffering for to this day. They tried to have their cake and eat it too. They had to essentially still do Zack's movie and make it into the Avengers. They hired the fucking director from the first Avengers movie to come in and try to make it more like that. It's a goobly glob mess. It's horrible. Okay? Now, the thing that's weird about this that kind of makes it a little bittersweet here is that we're seemingly close to an actual solution. Remember that the Flash movie was supposed to come out, I don't know, 17 million years ago? The reality is, if that movie had come out way before and it had done what we think it's going to do now, they might have actually been able to make this work. They might have. They might have been able to just kind of make it all make sense. Like, oh, here's some of the characters you saw in this movie. Here's some new characters. And the explanation is multiverse, Flash. You know what I mean? They were close. But I just don't think it's going to work anymore. I don't think it's going to work anymore. And so I think, honest to God, man, the more I think about it, and the more I thought about, the possibilities and all these different things, I think the solution, and I know it's going to suck, and dude, like, this is going to be wild if they do this. A complete and total reboot. Complete and total reboot. Now, I don't know that they can cancel any of these movies, but any movie or project that they can cancel that they have currently developed right now, they need to cancel. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think they need to cancel it all. Let it all go. Let it burn. Cast it into the fire. Let it all go. Because it's all an extension of all of the separate little problems that have ailed this brand for the past 6 to 7 years. There's too much baggage no matter what. No matter what. No matter what way you slice it. Oh, but we like Peacemaker. We want to keep Peace. Fuck it. Let it go. Oh, but the Batgirl movie looks kind of cool. Can't wait for Michael Keaton. Fuck it. Throw it in the trash. Aquaman 2. I mean, come on, man. Amber Heard, let's just be real about that shit. Get that the fuck out of here. You know? The Flash movie itself with Chokey McChokerson somehow magically going to dance through the raindrops again and not get in trouble. Ezra fuckface Miller. Get that shit as far as humanly possible away from me. Shazam? More like Shasnooze. Stupid, goobly glob children doesn't make any goddamn sense. Bullcrap. Get it out of here. Now, the problem is, I don't think they can even do that. They're this is why, like, I'm kind of confused, right? Because it's like, that's obviously the move. But what are they going to do with all of these projects that they have? What are they going to do? Well, they've got to release them, right? And so what they're probably going to do, if they go the way of a reboot, they're probably going to have to sort of quietly work on that, slowly develop that idea, while letting all of these other things kind of play out. By the way, they haven't greenlit a sequel to The Batman yet. They could, and they probably will. I mean, it's a successful movie. And again, I like the movie. I clown on the movie a lot. It's not my favorite iteration of Batman, but it's a fun movie. But they might not, guys. I mean, frankly, they might not. Like, I think they really need to abandon this idea that they can have their cake and eat it too, that they can continue doing what they were doing and try to just pretend and fool and play tricks on the audience. Like, I don't think that shit's going to work anymore. I mean, look at what is happening with Morbius. Morbius and Sony are trying to do the same old thing that they've been doing for a long time, since the first Venom movie. And it is plainly not working anymore. Audiences are too smart. Audiences have caught up to the shenanigans, and the shit ain't going to fly no more. I think the only way that DC can get onto the same level and playing field as Marvel is to let all of these things, all of these characters, let it go, let it dwindle out, have it release. We'll look back fondly, maybe, I mean, depending on where you're at, you'll look back fondly on this era of DC. On like, oh man, like, yeah, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. I remember that. Yeah, dude, the first movie was great. Second movie, you know, she was cool in Justice League, et cetera, et cetera. We'll look back at Henry Cavill and be like, dang, man, it sucks that we didn't get more Henry Cavill. It's a shame, but he was dope in the stuff that we saw. You know what I mean? We'll look back at Ben Affleck, Batman, and we'll be like, that was a good run. You know, that was kind of fun. That was cool. But you need a total and complete reboot, and you need cohesion, I think. And I'm here for it, dude. I'm here for it. The truth is, I think all DC fans would have something that they like sort of removed from the equation. So it's almost like a shared pain throughout the entire fan base. But the sort of prospective hope on what would come next, I think that's the key, man. I think that is the key. So, again, we don't know, man. We don't know what it means. But I think, you know, using words like overhaul, you know, talking about Kevin Feige, and essentially, like, really, this is not, like, we did this massive DC video yesterday because there's been so much going on. You know, there's been a lot of confusion about what it all means. There were people saying Toby Emmerich's safe. He's going to get a contract extension. That doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to happen now. Even if he does, it's probably to oversee a transition into the new era of DC. I'm team reboot, bro. I'm team reboot. Because frankly, it has been impossible to get into DC and to be as excited about DC as I am for Marvel. The cohesion, the connective tissue, the consistency, it matters. It makes a big difference. It's excitement. And what we currently have with DC is just definitely not working. And honestly, all of the coverage and the anticipation leading up to that, like maybe it'll take a couple of years, right? Maybe it'll take a couple of years. But then it's like we start to hear rumblings, casting, rumors about the new Justice League. Oh my God, who's going to be the new Superman? Holy crap. Who's going to be the new Batman? Oh man, who's going to be that new Wonder Woman? What stories are they going to tell? How crazy is this going to be? Exciting stuff. That excitement, that hype, and if they get the right creatives involved, it is going to create a lot of anticipation. It will. And spinning out of that, if there's cohesion there, there's still all kinds of opportunity for all sorts of fun DC stuff. But I don't think they can do it the way they've been doing it, dude. Like, I would cover DC and be excited about DC and be excited about the prospects and the possibilities more if they just rebooted it, restarted it, did a whole new thing, new direction, new cast, new directors, all of it. I'd be so into it. On top of that, frankly, there's a lot of stuff that even the Snyder verse, I didn't like about it. I don't like murdering Superman and murdering Batman. I don't like it. Love Zack. Not that into it. You know what I mean? Just plainly not that into it. I want to see more, not necessarily adaptations of the comic books. You can have a sort of modern take on it, but I want to see the heart and the core of that character be present. And I think that's like part of what they mean with like cohesion of the branding. Because I don't know how much you can sell like the way that Marvel has sort of become a lifestyle brand, which some of you guys like cringe about and you get all upset about, but the normies, they help these things go around, right? They help it happen, right? I think you need more consistency of those heroes. I think you need the Boy Scout, and you need to make the Boy Scout compelling. I think you need Batman to be dark and gritty, but also be a hero, and to be a very important part of the Justice League. You know what I mean? So it's not like the versions we've had, even from our favorite stuff, has been so good that I can't handle letting it go. Do you know what I mean? So, let's go to Pole Town. Let's go to Pole Town, USA. And I want to know what you got to say. Should DC reboot? Boom. It's a pop quiz, folks. Yep. Mr. Griffin's right. It's a pop quiz. Let's see if there's anything else going on in the nerdy world. Couple of cool things, guys. We have a bunch of fun videos coming out for you. I talked about them earlier. Got a Star Wars leaks video where I was like, oh, God, but then I calmed down. Got a video about Multiverse of Madness and how two crazy characters that nobody's talking about, and I'm saying nobody, maybe a few people, are not talking about. Look out for that. At 1 p.m. today, we've got a Nerdvengers Prime stream. I'm going to talk to you about just the difficulties that we've been facing lately with, just not being optimized in the move. And just a little tease for you, if you'll recall, the last time I moved, we had also major problems. And, the consistency fell off, and we had problems on the main channel. We've been here before, frankly, but we'll talk about it. And then at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight, we are doing a Diamond Lounge stream. If you are a Diamond Badge owner, come on by the Diamond Lounge. We're having a few drinks. We're taking a few blinkers to the face. And honestly, we've got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about crazy Elon Musk trying to take over the world with robots and Twitter. Talk about craziness just in the world, hopefully not destroying itself. All kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll have a few drinks. We'll have a few blinkers. We'll chat it up in there, and it's going to get wild today. It's going to get wild today. What happens in the lounge stays in the lounge. Because I got some hot takes. So that'd be really, really cool. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to talk about, really. So look, 83% of you say reboot it. Okay? It's pretty consistent with this right here. Put this on Twitter yesterday. 1,600 votes. 80% say yes. Guys, here's the thing. I think, again, if you really start to look at the math, Snyderverse fans, I think, and I could be wrong, I don't think I'm wrong on this one. I think Snyderverse fans would support a reboot way more than they would support no Superman with Supergirl and Keaton Batman replacing Batfleck and trying to do some weird-ass convoluted Jubilee job glibby glob thing. I'm going to be honest. I think that's facts. I think Snyder fans would be more open to a reboot. I think most fans that don't like Snyder stuff would be way more open to a reboot than they would be restoring the Snyderverse, yes or no? Bruh, the answer is staring us right in the face. It's staring us right in the face. Last point on this, and this is kind of this kind of gets into the territory of what I was talking about with E-Man. There frankly is not another Kevin Feige. There just isn't. So I don't know that they could just replicate what's going on, right? A lot of what DC does is reactive. A lot of what Hollywood does is reactive. E-Man was making an argument that there is no, Marvel formula. It's Feige's ideas about producing and collaboration, right? And one of the things that's interesting is Joe Russo's kind of been coming out recently and saying things like this, like Nate Moore, Victoria Alonso, like a lot of these people have been saying, like, guys, the Marvel formula is really collaboration with oversight about quality and, of course, a consistent brand. So, like, they think they need somebody to come in with just this singular vision. No. They need good collaborators that share in the same vision. Feige has lieutenants. You know what I mean? And what E-Man told me was, like, things are, like, Feige's people are so good around him right now that he doesn't even have to be fully involved with anything. That's why you can get things like What If done almost completely without him. He did step in and help with a few of those episodes pretty heavily, but you get stuff like that. He's got at scale now these lieutenants that can go out and do the Marvel thing, and the Marvel thing is just being like, hey, here's the consistency from the respect of our action directors, our stunt coordinators. We have a lot of pieces that bring a sort of uniformity to a lot of these different things. Costumes, casting, we've got you on that. But we want your vision to work within this, and it's a collaboration, right? So there is no Feige. There is no other Feige. You know what I mean? They need a good producer, a good business mind, and then they just need to get some good talent over there, some good creative people, 100%. Like, in the same way that Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon are super instrumental into developing even the concept of, like, phase 1 in the MCU. DC needs to bring in a creative brain trust and really, really talented filmmakers and producers that can sort of create the vision of something. It reminds me of like when I write a comic, right? And then I have this idea of it in my head, and then when the artist takes that idea and puts it into pencils and inks, it changes the idea I have. And then that informs the idea that I have moving forward as I write more of it. That's like the collaborative process. So DC would need somebody like that. They need some people in place to be able to do that. Frankly, I don't necessarily even have a lot of hope in their ability to do that. But this newness and this sort of thing that Zaslav is doing, it sparks hope. It sparks ideas. By the way, one last thing before we get into the Q&A. One last thing here. What you're seeing with these moves by Zaslav and a lot of the excitement and the anticipation and the discussion around that, I know this is going to trigger some people. That is exactly why I think Kathy Kennedy needs to go. I know, but here's the thing. How can you have hope and excitement for the future, for big changes, for a big difference, if those same people are still involved? Zaslav coming in, the discussion of looking for a new Feige, the idea of moving people out of the way and having a more streamlined, chain of command. All of these ideas serve to create optimism and narrative and speculation that seems to be pretty fucking positive to me. So, again, not trying to be that guy, but I think this is sort of an example. If you're one of those people that's really, really skeptical of Kathy leaving, or you just hate that narrative, and I know there was a lot of craziness that came with that narrative, and some people feel like they almost have to defend Kathleen Kennedy because of some weird culture war thing. I'm just speaking straight facts, dog. Removing somebody like that, giving the idea of newness, that's why you fire a head coach if a team's in a rut. Because that idea of new, it's about putting butts in the seats, man. The idea of newness. That's what it is. So, that's my last point on that, okay? Okay. Before we do the Super Chats, and I will save time for a couple of call-ins, So if you are a Nerdvenger member, keep an eye out for that. I do want to say we finally got some Moon Knight stuff, some like Moon Knight shirts, official merchandise, and some pops and some stuff. We're going to be doing giveaways next week as we get ready for Moon Knight episode 4. Very excited for that. But I wanted to just do a little something for you guys. A little something. I'm just going to do a coin drop for you guys of like 10,000. So everybody that's watching should get the 10,000 nerd coin dropped to them right now, and then you can gamble it all away. I mean, try to win more. Try to win more if you would like. Get these script pages out of my face. Get the script out of my face. Okay. Let's get into the super chats. We'll go through these super chats. Appreciate everybody that sent them in. They do support the channel. Much love and appreciation for everybody. But if you don't have any loot, don't worry about that. Not a big deal. We'll go into the chat as well. Even just watching, liking, all of that supports us as well. So thank you guys so much for the love today. Okay. Let's get into it. Let me take a big sip of coffee from my Wonder Woman mug. Yeah, I said big sip. Get the fuck out of my face. God. Man, I'm just like, I know I'm like all over the place and super ADD about this, but like, I want the reboot. I want it bad. Because I want to be like, oh, snap, this person might be Wonder Woman. Oh, I could see how that would work. Oh, that would be so crazy. That would be so cool. Oh, this dude's now in charge. Oh, he loves these comic book runs. He's citing this reboot of the Justice League. This is what we want. Like, all that kind of excitement and stuff. Rather than like, well, I guess it could make sense that Aquaman doesn't know Superman and that now Michael Keaton's Batman. And also, there's the Batman. I guess that could make sense. Anyway. Okay, first in today. Max Ross with the $5 holla says, Moon Knight being established as pretty powerful, shrugging off multiple impalements. There's a scruffy mutant with claws that wishes it was that easy. Yeah, that's fair. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool that Moon Knight has the healing abilities. They sort of touch on that where he says, like, see how you fare against Horror without my healing, whatever, you know. So, yeah. Moon Knight's strong, bro. Moon Knight real strong. Appreciate you. The Exodus says, if DC upsets you, go home. Just go home. Now. Good advice. I'm out of here. All right, just kidding. I'll stick around. Cole Wallace with a $2 holla says, bring back Zach and Henry, the heart of the DCEU. Yeah, Cole, look, I hear you, brother. And I've been beating that drum for quite some time. But I think, honestly, the more that I thought about it, man, the more I was like, bro, while that would be great for me, and that would be great for certain other fans out there, that's not going to be great. That's not the best scenario for the brand. And as much as I want Cavill back, and there were even reports like Casey Walsh said there's a version of the script that Coates is working on that could potentially have Henry Cavill's Superman in it as well. And, like, look, of course, all that kind of stuff gets me excited. I love Henry Cavill's Superman, bro. But I really think we have to move on. I just really think we have to move on. Overbound Game Studio with a $2 holla says, do you think Bruce Timm would work as Feige of DC? No. Couple of different things. Number one, Bruce Timm is a great storyteller. He's an animator, and he knows those characters really, really well. What he's been able to do has been fantastic. But if you take it past that, because look, they want their video games, they want their comics, They want their movies and TV shows all to have cohesion. Feige now is CCO of all of Marvel. Do you realize that? All the things, the comics, the games, all of it hit his desk. And he can give notes on everything to bring things in more brand cohesion. Cohort. You know what I'm saying. Shut your mouth. The other point is there is no other Feige, bro. Like, I'm really curious as to see where they go from here. But yeah, no, Bruce Timm's not that guy, man. Big Stevie W with a $10 holla says, we are getting so close to the Big Stevie W apology stream. I can taste it. Maybe? But the thing is, if they reboot like completely, and I guess I haven't really seen specifically what you think of this, Stevie, but if they reboot, then neither of us are technically right. You know, that would be a whole new thing that I don't think we really talked about much. But I will say that I think both of us would prefer DC to be in a much better spot. Because, I mean, come on, man. You want us to be making DC content, and you want us to be excited about DC. I really, truly think a reboot is the way to get there. But either way, I appreciate the support. Trevin DeMarco with a $5 holla says, of course they should reboot. DCEU is scattered everywhere. Some characters have 5 incarnations, and they've no starting point, i.e. Iron Man 2008 with Marvel. It's true. It's true, man. I mean, the more I thought about it, bro, and it was sad because I was like, I really had to let go a lot of the Snyder stuff. You know what I mean? Like, of course I want them to restore the Snyderverse, but not at the cost of, like, DC brand and the DC fandom. I think the best move is to reboot. Infinite Multiverse member for 5 months says the Ezra Miller news killed momentum from Peacemaker and Batman. Movies getting delayed to 2023 didn't help. We need the fabled Snyder Justice League 2 and 3 movies. But again, as I've stated, that is really only going to please and service a certain group of fans. And there was a small window after the release of the Snyderverse where it seemed like a lot of DC fans would have been open to more Snyder. But that went away. I don't know what to say. Like, we missed that boat, bro. You know what I mean? Peter B. Parker with a $2 holla says, I don't mind Flash leaks. Just give me Zack Snyder World 2. Yes. I hear you. But I just think, honestly, reboot is still a better option, bro. Like, you know, this have your cake and eat it too mentality, I just don't think it really works. It certainly doesn't build as much anticipation and sort of brand loyalty that you get with Marvel. So, I hear you, bro. Mike, save DC characters from WB Porter, says, why, Warner Brothers? Why? DC characters are dope. Even obscure. Even obscure ones? Yes. Yes, I agree. I love me some DC, man. East to West reacts with a $5 holla says, finally caught you live on my day off and got my morning blinker. Enjoy your weekend and thanks for all you do. Thank you, East to West. I appreciate the love, my friend. Block Writers with a $1 holla and no massage. John Cross says, WB did start following Zach and Ray Fisher on Twitter, though. This is true. This is true. Look, here's the thing. It seems like Snyder stuff had its own plans. They definitely made changes to the Flash to allow Batfleck to remain on the table for a eventual Crisis film. Right? That happened. It did seem like there were changes being made from the perspective of Warner Brothers as to being a little more open to Snyder and all of that. Those plans were happening. Also seems like there were plans happening for, Green Lantern Corps stuff. Also seems like there's plans happening for Superman and Lois. Also seems like there were plans happening for the main DC films, including the Batgirl movie with Keaton. Keaton's going to now have Batgirl as his protege. You know, Supergirl replacing Superman. Tahasi, I can never pronounce this guy's name. The Coates guy. He's a brilliant writer. Tahasi... Somebody help me here with the homie's name. What's the homie's name? They had a lot of plans, bro. And what I'm telling you is, I'm literally saying, fuck all that shit, bro. Cast it into the fire. That's what I'm saying. Block Rider's another one. Appreciate you, bro. Arthur says the fact Zack Snyder could single-handedly achieve in 5 films what it took Marvel to do in 22 films is astounding. Snyder cultist. Josh, glad you're not a clown. Hey, thanks, Arthur. Yeah, and to be fair, there is a lot of that, man. There is a lot of that. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, there's a very negative side of Snyder fans. It's passion, for sure. But if you're a studio, do you give a fuck? Like, honestly, it just causes problems. It causes problems. I think it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's too, like, it's not a layup, right? It's not a no-brainer, as they say, to just restore Snyder. Trinity, member for 22 months. Appreciate all the love, man. Says DC to make Superman son of Kal-El film. Let's go. Wait, what? Is this like breaking or something? What the hell are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Did this happen? Did this really just happen? What the hell's going on here? Thanks, Trinity. Mike Howells with a $5 holla says all current DC projects get a post-credit scene with a white wave that eases a previous DC project like 89 Batman. A Crisis is Coming reboot started. So, look, you could still do Crisis and have your established new Justice League meet up with these other characters, maybe eventually down the road. But I do think you need a new status quo. I think the reboot is the way. Again, I totally understand it. The truth is, everybody's going to have to sacrifice something. Everybody. All the DC fans. I mean, I like Superman and Lois. But I don't like Superman and Lois so much that I'm like, no, man, they need to keep going and make all this make sense and connect. No, bro. I would much rather have a whole new Superman. And you know what I mean? So maybe that's just me. Thor's Brown Eye, member for 16 months, says, best case scenario, DC actually gets Kevin Feige. I've heard rumblings he isn't as happy under Bob Chapek, so who knows? That is true. But I also think that it would take an incredible amount to rip him from Marvel. It is far more likely he would maybe help out Star Wars or do something over at Star Wars because of the contract and because sure, there's probably issues, 100%. There's always issues, by the way. But Disney's been pretty damn good to that, man. You know what I mean? So, Michael Phantom with a 5 says they should just spin out of the Batman and rebrand as DC Earth Prime. It's not what they wanted, but it could work. The Batman could be the Iron Man of DC. So I guess there's a couple of different reasons why I don't like that. By the way, I wouldn't absolutely hate it. I wouldn't hate it, right? But I wouldn't love it. And there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like Pattinson's version of Batman, even though they made Matt sort of change it and make it a little bit more accessible, is not the version of Batman that I would want to see via Justice League and these other different stories. He's too postmodern. He's not heroic enough. Like, it's just, to me, that's not it. I don't think you want to do, because it's essentially like redoing Zack's stuff, right? Like, he's trying to figure out what being Batman means. Like, no, I don't want that. Number two, is that I think just visually, that's not really the palette I want either. You know what I mean? Like, it's too sort of dark and, you know, just very street level and all of that. You know what I mean? Which you can do with Batman, but like, dude, the Justice League and shit, like, no. That's not what I want from it. Like, I'm thinking more of like actual classic Justice League comic books. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. I don't think that would be the way to do it. And I think from a brand perspective, it would be challenging to start with a film like that. It's essentially redoing all the problems you did with Man of Steel. Like, from what I understand, they basically said, hey, man, Zach, why don't you make this Man of Steel? Let's do this David Goyer thing. Make it a little more postmodern like we did with the Nolan stuff. And do your thing. And then he did it. And they were like, by the way, you just created our multiverse or our new cinematic universe. And he was probably like, okay, I could do that. But that's not, like, you're repeating that same mistake. Moss with the $2 holla says, Team DC reboot, but how do you message that to fans. I think you got to let all of these projects come out and say that they are what they are. They exist. You could even use the multiverse lines and all that, while all the while sort of signaling to the fans that there are big changes coming and that there is a reboot on the horizon. Will that hurt these movies? Absolutely. It's like sort of the X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Dark Phoenix situation, where we all knew it was coming. We all knew the new stuff was coming, so there's less draw. But I would argue that DC already doesn't have that good of draw for most of their stuff, right? So you cut your losses, you let that play out over the next couple of years, and then, like, you announce a whole new regime and a whole new Justice League after that. That's what I would do. Joey says, less Ezra Miller, more Ezra Bridger. Still haven't seen the Batman, waiting for HBO Max. Moon Knight to the moon. Just rewatched Hawkeye, and it's great. Love Haley and Florence on screen. F Warner Brothers. Hey, I appreciate you, Joey. I appreciate all that support, and I feel you, bro. I feel you. Moon Knight is straight fire, man. I think it's gonna, like, the back half of the show, I think it's gonna pop, you know? Jack says, reboot DC and Sony. Please sell Spider-Man rights back to Marvel. Yeah, that second part's probably not going to happen, Jack. But yes, I'm with you on the reboot. Dalton Waters says, I like DC characters and love Snyder's bare bones and character designs, but right now they could bring in JJ and Ryan to co-produce the universe and it would be better. I mean, you ain't wrong. And oh my God, that would be terrifying. And yeah, we'll have to see what creatives they attach to it and everything like that. But yeah, man, I think, look, I know for some people they're not down, but I think many of us are kind of like, yeah, man, it's time. MCU Drew says, Marvel lead the MCU with Iron Man by default. If DC reboots, should they lead with a B-lister or one of the Trinity? Which B-lister would you choose? That is kind of interesting. I gotta be honest, man. I feel like the way you do it, what I would really like more is the version of what they did in the New 52, where, like, you have Batman, like, operating. He's heard of Superman, but, you know, whatever. You have Green Lantern operating. You have all these characters operating, but they're not, the Justice League hasn't formed, and then an inciting incident causes them all to form that, right? So, like, whether it be Darkseid or whatever, that's what I would do. As far as, like, an obscure character, I don't know that you need to do that with DC, because you have all the rights to all the heavy hitters. Like, Marvel Studios didn't do that because they wanted to. You know what I mean? They did it because they didn't have the rights to all the really popular characters. In fact, they bought the Iron Man rights back because it was super cheap, you know? So I don't think you need to do that. I also think that we've sort of now eclipsed that time period, and even Marvel is looking to do big characters again, because, I mean, these other ones they're doing fine, but they're not, like, popping the same, right? So, I'm trying to think if there is an obscure DC character that I would want to, like, form the Justice League, and I just really don't see it, bro. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the love. Blue Tattoo. Oh, gosh dang it. Oh, gosh dang it. Oh, gosh dang it. Where are we at here? Blue Tattoo says, even Feige needs reining in sometimes. For Endgame, he wanted to kill all of the Avengers. Thankfully, the Russos talked him down. 100%. But that's what I'm kind of saying is, like, he's a collaborator, bro. Like, he definitely has control and has an iron fist. But he's a collaborator. Robert Downey Jr. told Oscar Isaac to do Moon Knight, and he said, remember, Kevin Feige's a genius. That's why you should do it and why you should be excited to work with him. But he's also a collaborator. Allow yourself to be heard. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree. That's why, like, this whole, like, concept of, like, the formula and all those different things, it's not quite that, you know? Matthew says, for a $10 holler, if you had to bet the house on if you will see Marvel versus DC cinematic content in your lifetime, what do you say? I would say yes. I would say yes, but DC needs to like get out of the minor leagues. They need to start playing in the same league as Marvel before that would even be a possibility, in my opinion. John Cross with a $5 holler says Zack's whole vision was to lead to Flashpoint and reboot everything anyways. They should have just followed through and not worried about spin-offs right away. There is a ton that we can say about what they should and should not have done. I absolutely hear you, and I agree with your take. But we're where we're at now, right? I really believe that the best way forward is to reboot. Jordan says Eric Kripke should be brought back in to run DC. I don't know about all that, bro. I like Kripke, but he can be a little too Kripke. Renee says congrats on taming the rogue curl. Oh, you noticed. Oh, you noticed. Yeah, I actually did do a little clipping myself, and honestly, like, I still don't fully know how to style this hair. I might even go back in next week and be like, hey, can you help me look beautiful? Help me, because I don't know how to do this. Make me look pretty. But thanks, Renee. Oh, you noticed. Brack Sykes says, if DC reboots, who do you start with? I'd say Batman, but they literally just did a new Batman. Bro, just do, again, like, I know everybody wants to do, like, the Marvel thing and, like, do one by one. I don't even think you need to do that. Like, I would jump right in, bro. I would jump right in. Or, here's something that would be really bold. Green Lantern. Dude, it is wild how little the Lanterns have to do with the current DC stuff. Like, if you, any DC fan will tell you that the Lantern Corps, Green Lantern, but also like all of them, Sinestro, Red, Indigo Tribe, Blue Lantern Corps, all of it, even Larfreeze, it's a huge part of the continuity, of the canon, of the stories. It is wild that they haven't figured that out in live action. So how about that? Do a little Green Lantern, huh? Alex says, member for 16 months, appreciate you, bro, says, crazy theory. Favreau is hired as the head of DC after getting tired of waiting for KK's job. I would be devastated. I don't think he's going to do KK's job or he's going to do a job like this, but he would be a brilliant collaborator to bring on to work on some of the first movies to create this revitalization, right? That's my take. 34 Virgo with a $10 holla says, which is worse, DC with all the fuck-ups with casted members and a director, or Sony with its continuous efforts to be a part of Marvel and pretending no one notices the difference, or when Fox had X-Men? I would tell you I think Warner Brothers and DC right now is in the worst position out of all of them. Sony technically made one of the biggest movies ever pretty recently. Morbius, yeah, big bomb. But they have time. They could adjust it. I mean, I don't know, man. Sony's pretty close. Fox X-Men, I think Fox X-Men I give a little bit more credit to because I don't think it was as bad as these other two. And it was also existing at a time when some of those things were more acceptable, like continuity, schmontinuity, you know, that 90s comic book feel. I mean, for God's sakes, the X-Men movies invented that shit in some ways. So I would say DC is the worst of it all. Thanks, bro. Appreciate the love. Bobby says, Josh, I'm with you all the way. 100%. DC needs to reboot. There is nothing on the upcoming DC slate that I could care less about watching. Just take my money, bro. Yeah, so, like, this is what it is. Like, let's talk about that. And thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it. Even The Rock, Black Adam. Guys, the most I could give that film, like, the most I could give it is, yes, some of the stuff in some of the spots looks cool. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, shit seems cool, man. You know, Hawkman flapping his wings out like that, hell yeah, looks dope. Even The Rock looks decent. But I have, like, next to no confidence in that movie being, like, really, really good. Like, does anybody here actually think that Black Adam will be on the level of even some of the mid-tier MCU movies? Like, just be real. Does anybody really think that? Does anybody really think that? Does anybody think Shazam 2 is going to blow our hair back? Really? Really? Aquaman 2, search for the, like, at this point, and shout out to viewer Anon for this one. At this point, I'm half expecting Mads Mikkelsen to be cast as Mira in Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2, more like Aquaman could give two shits. I don't care. By the way, Aquaman is one of the most mid-tier MCU movies we've ever had. Think about it. The Flash. The Flash, bro. Really? The movie that's been delayed for like a decade? Did you know that the Flash movie was announced shortly after the second episode of the Grant Gustin Flash television show, and it will not come out until after the entire show is over? Bro, miss me with that shit? Yeah. Crichton Smith. Any chance that Michael Keaton is playing Thomas Wayne in an alternate reality like in the Flashpoint Paradox? Unfortunately not, dude. Definitely doesn't seem like that's what's going on. It's gonna be Bruce. Chris Listenfeld with a $5 holla says, dude, simple solution. Just clone Feige. One variant can run Marvel, and one could run DC, and one to take over Star Wars. Take a blinker, and take my money, Papa. Hey, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. That would be pretty wild, right? P-Man Catfish, $5 holla says, Josh, take my motherfucking money. Everyone smash like right now. DC sucks. Let's just go reboot. Amen, P-Man. Amen. Big Stevie W with a $10 holla says, they won't reboot. Discovery needs to make money quickly on these properties. They'll embrace the multiverse aspect they've already set up. They need someone who can manage it, in my opinion. I strongly disagree, brother. I strongly disagree. But it is possible that that's the scenario that they would take. I think that would be a mistake. I think it would be a missed opportunity, and I think the time has come. But I'm not going to sit here and say that you don't have a fair point, because I think that you do. Either way, appreciate you. Alex says they should just do Injustice or Crisis on Infinite Earths, make them one-offs with a new cast. I mean, that would be kind of cool. I'd be kind of into that. I'd be kind of into that. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. Scott McCrite with a $10 holla says, if Bad Batch 2 gets pushed to 2023 and they wait to announce that May 29th, I'm going to lose it, man. I want bad news early. Is there like a report that that's going to happen, that Bad Batch is going to get pushed? I haven't heard that, if that is out there. And yeah, I think a lot of our hopes rest in Star Wars Celebration, right? Like when it comes to Star Wars, a lot of our hopes are riding on that. You know what I mean? Appreciate you, man. John Cross says, between the negative and positive fan talk, at that point, isn't any press good press? Keeps people talking no matter what. I just don't agree that any press is good press, bro. I mean, I know that's something people say, but you're telling me the Ezra Miller press recently has been good? Like, come on, man. Like, nah, fam. Nah. Abby says with a $5 holla, says, let DC slowly fade away until Marvel scoops it up in the next few years and makes it everything we've ever wanted. LOL. That would be great. There was a small window where that may have been possible, where AT&T wanted to divest in DC. Do you remember that? And Zaslav, I mean, it seems like he's in the opposite camp, where he wants to heavily leverage the DC characters. So I very much doubt that's going to happen. But either way, I appreciate the support. Cole Wallace says, Moon Knight seems like a DC character. No? I'm not sure what you mean by that. He's a little like Batman. Is that what you mean? Namon says with a $5 holla, I love Zach, but his stuff is incomplete and left fans divided. And if a reboot gives us more comic accurate characters and hypes fans, I'm down. Yeah, bro. That's exactly what it is, man. Like, allow imagination, speculation, and hype to build. Create a whole new thing. That's what I think it should be. That's where I'm at. The real Jesse Lee Reed says, I love the Snyder Justice League and would love a sequel, but I'm not going to die on that hill. Hashtag reboot. But a graphic novel Snyder sequel would be dope. 100%. They could finish it in comic book form. I would love that. You know what I mean? Frudes. Welcome to the Nerd Venture. You are a Nerd Venture now. Appreciate you. Make your way around the tower. Get comfy. Go say what up to Susan. Slap Chet in the face and call it a day. Zoe the Goat says, I'm so effing tired of street-level Batman stories. How hard is it to do something different? Batman is way more than a street-level hero. 100%, bro. I mean, you know how I feel about that shit. I 100% agree, and I think it's time. We need the Bat God. John Cross with a $5 holla says, DC came to Zack for Man of Steel. Zack presented the 5-movie arc for Superman. It was like what Marvel did with Tom Holland becoming Spider-Man in those movies. I actually don't know that to be 100% true, John. I've heard that before. I've also heard that that's not at all true. So, I don't know, conflicting reports on that, bro. Logan B says, instead of full reboot, why not build in new Batman universe? This is coming from a Superman and Lois and the Batman fan. Because I think the idea of newness and a sort of new presented possibility is very important to unifying the fan base. The Batman did decent for a movie. You know, it did pretty good, but it's not even universally loved. And I think part of that comes with the narrative as well. This was the movie that replaced Ben Affleck's Batman movie. Snyder fans just inherently kind of have a beef with that. You don't want any of that baggage. You don't want any of it. Fresh, new. That's the way to go. Mike House with a $2 holla says, give Berlanti all the toys and none of the shackles. I mean, I'm kind of in that camp as well. Like, I very much like Berlanti. But again, I'm not there. I'm not there with it. Like, Berlanti's really good. But there are a lot of people that think the CW shows completely fell off, bro. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Big Stevie says, love you, bro, but your DC plan makes no business sense. Discovery didn't just pay billions of dollars only to tell people that they are rebooting everything and hurt the box office of the upcoming movies. I mean, brother, I'm not the only one saying this. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch Grace's video, she also thinks this is probably what's going to happen. It's been done before, and I think the potential of having everything be cohesive from a branding perspective is worth swallowing a few bad box office numbers for a while. So, while, again, I do see your point, I don't think it's as clear-cut as you think. I don't. 7 RPM Conspiracy says DC needs back on the map with Man of Steel 2. I mean, again, I don't think that's the answer, man. Carl says reboot won't happen. They will middle together a multiverse. Marvel is having a hard enough time introing their multiverse. Multiverse is tough for normies. I understand what you're saying. But I think, you know what's really easy for normies to understand? Reboots. You know what I mean? Reboots and things of that nature, I think, are actually pretty easy to understand. Hang on, I got to open up a separate window because something's glitching out here and I can't read these supers. I can't read these supers. All right, let me see here. Oh, man, I can't read the member ones here? Gosh dang it. John White, welcome back to the Nerd Avengers. Dalton Waters says they should lean into Bruce moving from Gotham to New York, starting his family and eventually fighting bugs using different flying animal. What? Yo, you're wild, bro. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're good on all of that. What time is it? It's about noon. Would you guys absolutely hate it if I didn't do call-ins today? Are you guys okay if we don't do call-ins? I kind of want to just hang out in the chat for a little bit, see what you guys are saying, and then get out of here. Would you guys be all mad? Or is it okay? You're lucky I'm not calling in, says Stevie. Oh, shit. Abby says, I'm 100% down for a full reboot, but regardless of what happens, can we please get a live-action Batman Beyond show or movie? It would be incredible. Oh, I 100% agree with that. Batman Beyond would be dope. John Cross says, referring to my last chat about 5 movie arcs, Zach said it himself, I believe. He talked about it a lot. So, again, look, man, I've looked into this, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm 100% on this, but my understanding is not what you're saying. Did Zach have a relative idea of an arc? Absolutely. But it's my understanding that a lot of that happened after development for for Batman v Superman, not Man of Steel. Man of Steel was made as a postmodern take on the Superman character. And yes, Zach had an idea of how to take that character on an arc that would make him heroic. But it wasn't until Batman v Superman and sort of the retroactive idea of, hey, let's do this Marvel, cinematic thing, that he started to take that idea and work it out like that. So, yeah. Do a poll about call-ins. Oh my God. I'm hot, says Scotty. Crack a window or something, man. Okay, fine. Jeez, guys, we'll do a few call-ins. Holy shit. Everybody's all mad because everybody wants to get on the call and yell at me. All right, I'm only doing 3. And it's the first 3 that come in. I'm starting the stage right now. I'm pausing the music. I'm turning this up. All right, let's get Scotty on here. Scotty! Good.
What up? Can you hear me?
I got you, brother. What's going on?
Getting out of the wind real quick.
All right, let me get this cool graphic going on here. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm
How's
good.
family?
Look, family's good. I mean, we had kind of a scarier week or whatever, but yeah, we're doing okay, bro. We're making it happen.
Beautiful. So, what I want to say about Sony Marvel that I've been saying is isn't the end game a shared Spider-Man kind of vibe between the two companies? And if that is the case, Vulture's in there, Venom is in MCU type of thing, why the blame always goes to Sony when a movie is not the greatest? If the end goal of this whole thing, and I'm really hung up on the edits and the director's comments about not knowing who did that with the trailer, etc.
Yeah.
He has said a lot that to me makes it feel like there's, just deeper interconnected things we don't know about yet.
Right.
I don't know.
Let me make a small, and I want to ask you a question actually, but let me make a small kind of caveat for Morbius, which I've actually done in almost all of my coverage for it, but it gets sort of lost in the shuffle, right? But there's one small thing that could make Morbius not necessarily okay, but at least understandable. And that is that this movie was started maybe before there was cohesion, right? When Sony was going to just do their own thing. Then the Doc Strange was going to come out first. Then that gets changed around. So Morbius could be the victim of a lot of different changes and things of that nature. But let me just ask you, the way you read it, do you think that the people over at Sony are really interested in collaborating with Kevin? Or do you think that they are interested in just getting the praise and the goodness that he has? Because if I recall, Tom Rothman and AV said in 2019, we don't need Kevin Feige. And pretty much what happened was the whole internet said, the fuck? And that's what sort of started the whole thing. But do you think they really want to collaborate?
Well, so that's what I'm kind of also saying is like, if we think about the Sony Sinister Six or what that could potentially now look like, we have Morbius confirmed in a Venom verse.
Yeah.
So you have Morbius, Venom, Vulture is in there now. There's a Craven movie being talked about.
Yeah.
Like those four characters right there as a Sinister Six. Craven could lead to the last hunt. He could kill a Superman or a Spider-Man. That could be an Andrew Garfield. Like Sony has so much potential with the future, what they're doing with Madam Web and stuff. I don't think they need Marvel. I think that they should back away now, especially when the editing and the things that are happening with Morbius affect it so negatively and now they look bad. That just to me is like red flags all around. If I was Sony, I'd be like, okay, let's dive into this even further on our end.
Yeah.
Fast Track, Silver, Sable, all that other stuff.
Totally, man. Here, let me talk about this a little bit. I'm going to take you out of here, but I'll touch on this a little bit more.
Appreciate it, man.
Okay? All right, brother. Much love. Get you out of here. Okay, so fair point by Scotty. And I will say, too, that, even in 2019, when the two separated, I said then, Sony's well within their rights to do this. They own the character. They have the license. They can go do that. And technically speaking, they could take Tom Holland. But what's so wild is that with zero actual contractual business leverage, Feige and Marvel Studios was able to renegotiate and change Sony's plans simply based on the narratives that were out there and how much sort of perceived power and control and love Marvel Studios had. Is that fair? No. Is it the reality of the situation? Yes. And I think that while, you're right, like maybe they don't need Marvel to accomplish this, the narrative's just going to be that they didn't actually care or take the time and consideration that Feige did, and they're just looking to make a quick buck. I also think it's completely asinine to do Venom, Morbius, and potentially Craven without Spider-Man. At some point, you got to put a Spider-Man in there, and maybe the post-credit scene is a way to do that. But I got to be honest, bro, to me, I think they definitely do need Marvel, because if you look at the films they've done without Marvel, all of them are of a subpar quality, including the Venom stuff, which I personally love. So it's one of those cases of is it totally fair? No, but it is what it is. And if I were Sony, I would play ball, man. You know what I mean? I would understand that. But who knows? Maybe Craven will be amazing. There'll be a Spider-Man, and we'll just take it from there, okay? So I'm going to bring on Namon Hib. What's going on, bro?
What's up? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear. What's good?
Man, I'm just after talking about DC, talking about Sony, I think I could get over this Gore situation. I think it's gonna be pretty easy for me to get over.
That's
to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, because when it comes to Marvel, we don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. We're just oh man, why doesn't Gore look better? You know what I mean?
I would love a comic accurate Gore. I would love that, but I can get by with it because it sounds like it's gonna be a great movie. Yeah, it sounds like everything else is gonna be fantastic. So
yeah,
I can get that.
So are you team Reboot or not?
Oh, of course I'm team Reboot. I understand that most people don't really like the Snyder stuff. They have a bad association with it. They have negative feelings when it's brought up. So, if I can get some comic accurate Superman, Batman, them doing other things than what they've been doing, different stories, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
And I mean, they need to develop that Marvel hype train. That's what pushes me. When there's no content, fans are still we survived a long time without Marvel content, basically solely off of just speculation.
Yep, that's 100% fair. Yep, that's 100% fair, man.
They need to just develop that hypeness and just make try to plead. Feige gives everybody their thing. You say it all the time. He tries to give everybody their slice of the pie. So they need to try to figure out how to do that.
Yep. No, I 100% agree, man. I 100% agree. Anything else you want me to touch on? Anything else you want to tell the peoples or anything?
I'll be honest with you. The more I think about it, I was worried about the Doctor Strange movie, the runtime, because I feel like there's a lot to do in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But honestly, after seeing Sonic 2, it kind of calmed me down, because it was 2 hours, but they put a lot in that movie, and it was really great. like an actual great movie.
I gotta check that out still, man. I gotta check that out. Here, I'll take you out of here. I'll talk a little bit about Multiverse of Madness too, man. I appreciate the support. Okay,
Peace out.
take care, bro. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. Look, first of all, the gore point is well said because yeah, we can sort of get a little bit uptight about what gore looks like, but at the end of the day, that dude Taika literally just made his last movie within this franchise was incredible. You know what I mean? Like Ragnarok. So you know, very likely that Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be amazing, and we're not going to really be that butthurt about the way he looks. And it's just they're playing in a totally different ballgame. When it comes to Multiverse of Madness, I think there are some people that are worried about the runtime, but I frankly think it's going to be fine because the movie's still going to be crazy and accomplish a lot. And really, a lot of the craziness is going to come after this. Like the speculation of how this all plays out and will we meet these characters again, et cetera, is going to be a huge part of it. And so, as opposed to some of these other movies, like Endgame needed to be super long because it's wrapping all these different things up, wrapping these character arcs up, and coming to a conclusion. Doc Strange, I think, Multiverse of Madness is going to come to a conclusion, but it also serves as a pivot point and sort of a point where all these other things are going to really matter and be speculated upon for the future. So I'm into it. I'm not worried about the length at all, but I appreciate the love. I'm going to bring on John and John. Let's do John Ortega first, and then John White. I'll bring you on as well. John, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
I got you. How are you?
I'm gonna just say I'm a big fan.
Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
I'm team Reboot, and even if that means like they release like Shazam and like Black Adam and like all these movies that's in production already, like release them, get it out their system, probably build up to something like one more movie, but after that, take like a cool like 5 years and just reboot the shit out of this whole thing because not working at all.
So do you think, let me just ask you this, do you think that people would still go see these movies? Because, like, I kind of think it's going to be the same crowd that was going to see them that will still go see them. Like, Shazam, it just has the draw of, like, being a Shazam movie. It doesn't have that same, like, umphy draw that even movies like Eternals have where you're like, I got to see how this impacts everything, right? So do you still, like, if they let those things come out and you still know a reboot's coming on, do you still think people would go see them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's going to be some, I mean, I would still go see the movie. I mean, I feel like a lot of people still go see the movie, but at the same time, they can even release it on HBO Max just to get out their system, even though, you know, they're even doing this now, straight to release the HBO Max. So,
yeah, that's true.
Either way, if they don't make their money back, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. It's just, they just need to reboot it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, Darrell, trust me, I'm 100% with you on that, and I appreciate the call. Any last questions or anything you want me to touch on?
No, I'm just excited for the next episode of Moon Knight and Kenobi. I just cannot wait for that. Oh my God, I just cannot wait for Kenobi. It's gonna be amazing.
Man, I got a fun little video coming out for Kenobi later.
I know, I can't wait.
Yeah, I think you'll dig it. Well, I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna take you out of here. All right.
Thank you for the call. Thank you.
Of course, bro. Take care, man. All right, Arthur. Let's bring Arthur on. John, I don't know what happened with John White. I'm sorry, bro. You might have had to go or something like that, but Arthur. Hello, Arthur.
Can you hear me?
I got you. Yeah. What's up, bro?
So to touch on the Spider-Man thing, the whole Fallout happened those years ago. The fan base lost their shit. And I feel like if someone did that again, it would be like a relapse. But at the same time, it's like it would make money, but I don't think it would be as big because like Sony has a reputation when it comes to making Spider-Man movies. The only best one they've made was Spider-Verse.
True. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be ruined. Like, Tom's, like, movies would be ruined.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, bro. Like, it's like they don't have that quality and that pedigree behind them, like, at all. Which is part of the reason that, like, again, you know, when that happened, like, fans just freaked out and it kind of created that leverage. So, Yeah, I'm with you. Let me ask you this. Do you think Feige is kind of like letting them destroy themselves a little bit? Because it kind of seems like he's like one step in, one step out, right? Like he allowed the Venom post-credit scene, but he essentially like
Yeah.
Uno reverse cards the homie out, right? So do you think he's like letting them like fail, on their own?
Honestly, yes, because you know why? Because one, they're not his responsibility because he doesn't work for Sony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to like cater to them because at the like all he cares about is making us fans happy
True.
and producing great Spider-Man content with Tom.
Yeah.
And then with the Venom thing, see, I think that's his whole point is because okay, he doesn't give a crap about Tom Hardy's Venom,
Right.
but now we got Venom.
Yeah.
Because like we have our own, you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100% on that. I know not everybody feels the same, and there's some people that are like, but the Tobey trilogy, guys, I'm gonna be honest. Spider-Man 3 is so bad, it almost destroys the whole trilogy for me. So like, I love the Tobey movies, but that third one is like bad. You know what I mean? And I love Andrew Garfield, but those movies, they're just not even. It's not even close to the quality that we get with.
It's honestly because of Sony, and that's just like a lot of fans can't accept that truth. Like they just made a shitty movie for those two characters that most of us love, those actors, and then when they brought them back for this movie, they got so much love.
Yo, this is literally the best that we've seen them, bro. It's crazy, right? So yeah, no, I'm with you. And it was absolutely studio interference. I mean, Sam Raimi's actually talked about it. The studio injected a ton of those villains into the third movie and made it into a goobly glob mess, which is why he didn't even want to come back.
I remember hearing, you talking about that, and I'm like, wow, I would have much preferred not having Venom in that movie.
Oh yeah, totally. And like Topher Grace, come on now, crazy.
Yeah, whoever made that casting decision was probably too blinked out too.
Yeah, 100% blinked out for show. Well, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, no, hit me.
With the DC thing, I'm totally a go for a reboot.
Yeah,
like I'm sorry, like dude, I loved the Snyder stuff. I loved it, but you know what? After that whole thing, I do not like. That's why I'm a bigger Marvel fan.
Yeah.
Warner Bros. Is the shittiest company to run to work for to do comic stuff.
Yeah, man. I hear you.
Like the whole drama, that's worse than Sony. Honestly, I'd rather have Spider-Man stay with Sony than have to deal with all that drama.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. So it's been an interesting week, and we'll of course see where it goes from here. But either way, man, I appreciate the takes. Appreciate the call, brother.
Thank you for having me on, bro.
Of course, man. Take care, man.
You too.
All right. And Trev, thanks for helping us out on that. You got any comments to make, Trev, before we get out of here? Or are you like at work or something? Trev, are you Team Reboot? Well, Trev's gone. Thanks a lot, bud. Thanks for leaving me hanging there. All right, we got a couple more super chats. I'm going to get on out of here, ladies and gentle beings. And all of you that are saying that Spider-Man 3 was good, you're out your goddamn mind. That movie's so bad, I can't watch it. It's rage-inducingly bad to me. But Spider-Man 2 was dope. Squirrel Girl movie over any DC film so far? Yeah, you're probably right. The real Jesse Lee Reed says, if you haven't seen Everything Everywhere at Once, treat yourself this weekend. Fantastic film. Yeah, I've heard, bro. I definitely want to check it out 100%. Vaultvex Spy says Sony just needs to let Marvel make the movies and reap the rewards. Flex Fit hats, please take my motherfucking money. Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate the love. We'll try to get those Flex Fit hats. I don't know how all that works, if I'm being honest. But much love. All right, so this was fun. I felt like there was a lot of discussion, a lot of difference of opinion, all of that. I understand where everybody's at. We'll follow it closely. We'll talk about it for sure. And I'll hang in the chat for a little bit, see if there's anything else that you guys got to say. What else do you guys got to say? By the way, 81% say yes, they should reboot. What's more likely, Spider-Man getting sold or the sequels getting retcon? By the way, both vids yesterday were fire. Hey, I appreciate it. Those are both very low chances, bro. Those are very low chances. Hey, Josh. Hey, Bergie. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Get the fizzuck up out of here, eat some lunch, and see you at 1. Oh, yeah, we going to get out of here. Faux show. Today was a little comic book store with the little CNBC. Pretty cute. Today was a little comic book store? A little Oh, sure. Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying. I was like, what? But yeah, it was. What if WB hires AV Arad? Oh, no. Or David Goyer for their Kevin Feige. Would that be... yeah, that would be a monkey's paw scenario, 100%. Hey, Josh, are you a DC fanboy? I like the DC characters quite a bit. I'm a big Superman guy. Love it. The MCU has a ton of duds that are worse than Spider-Man 3. I disagree. Black Widow is literally not a terrible movie. Black Widow's all right. Iron Man 3, though, is pretty bad, yeah. Josh, would you like them to do Amazing Spider-Man 3 and kill off Garfield and bring Miles on? I mean, that would be kind of cool. I'd be open to it. Make Theory the next Batman? Yeah, he would be. He would be a good Batman. At least funny for sure. How is Discovery going to save DC? I think they need to reboot. Can I admit that the content sucks now? I'm not sure what you're talking about, my guy. Blinker Cinematic Universe? 100%. I think Black Adam will be a decent film. I mean, it might be. I've literally seen nothing that makes me think that. Nothing. 3 wins today. Thanks for the nerd coin. Oh, that's awesome, bro. I'm glad you were crushing it. Alien Covenant movie, bro, for movie bros. That would be fun. Lost all of your nerd coin today? Oh my god. Bria says Marvel and DC sucks to me. I don't know about you. It's hard to care about it. Definitely not hard to care about it, dude. And I don't even think all of it sucks. Like, the DC stuff is whack and I don't like it. But it doesn't suck. But it could be so much better. Could be so much better. I'm telling you right now, I'm Team Reboot. Glitches out your speaker every time? That's terrible, bro. Hey, much love, Ross. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Peacemaker is a show to watch? Question mark? I don't know about that. Won 6K today? Oh, nice. My man. My man. All right, everybody. Much love to you all. I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the takes. And look, that's really what it's about, man. Like, having these nerdy talks. That's what it's about. You know, having our voice be heard, arguing a little bit, thinking about different perspectives and all that, you know. I think it was good. Healthy discourse. 100%. Much love, everybody. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Yeah. 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 Wait, what? The mic's on? Fuck. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Mike, Jokey, Porter. What the fuck? I'll see you guys at 1, and I'll see you guys at 5:30 if you're a Diamond Tier member. We're gonna talk about things. Captain gotta teach stuff. Also, got on that fart night last night. And man, I placed top 3 first game, top 5 next game, and 7th place the game after that. So basically, I'm going pro. And yeah, so we're a Fortnite channel now. And yeah, I'll see you on the Fortnite stream. Yeah. How do you get into the member stream at 1? It'll be posted on the members tab if you are a Prime member. All right, everybody. If I don't see you, have a good weekend. Happy Easters. Did you tell him they were the Lord's chips?